launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Johnson in there with Colton. Hang on. Shoot. Save. Rebound. Days go. Ross Colton with a lightning strike in overtime.
Well, it sure looked like Ross Colton, but it was actually given to Matthew Joseph. Dave Randolph with the call right there on the Valley Sports Network as Colton rushes the net after a Matthew Joseph shot in overtime. The Lightning's 8th overtime win, which leads the NHL, their 11th overtime game of the year, tied for the most. No doubt about it. These kids know how to come back and win in overtime, in the clutch, and the Lightning just keep on rolling. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at PalermoPA.com. What a night last night, Emily Arena. All the stars around. Randy Rosarena was there.
Brett Phillips was there.
Amanda Serrano was there. Everybody was there. It was fun last night. It was good. It was a nice little atmosphere last night on a Tuesday.
Good to be back in the office, too.
Good to be back in the office. Just absolutely love that arena. The vibe was going. Little slow start for the fans. Once again, the lower bowl was half empty at the beginning of the game, probably for the most of the first period. So that's been kind of a constant theme this year. These 7 o'clock games, it's and I think it has a lot to do. No more screenshots on your phones. So if you're going to a game, folks, always remember you got to pull up the actual ticket, not the screenshot, and so you can get in quickly and expeditiously. But what a game last night. I thought the Lightning came out a little bit slow. But again, we got to keep in mind they're playing with about half the team they had from last year's Stanley Cup. And again, getting contributions from the kid line. Raddysh with a goal last night. Hetty with a goal last night, a 97-mile-an-hour blast. Vasilevskiy with an incredible save in overtime. And the Lightning get a big 3-2 win. So we'll get into the Lightning. We'll hear from John Cooper and the boys on last night's win. Lots of breaking news this morning to get to. First, here's our lineup today. Got a lot of great guests to you as usual. T.A. Rives will join us at 10:30. Bucs sideline guy. We'll hit the Bucs stuff and what's going around the NFL. COVID is going around the NFL and everywhere in sports. And we talked about this about a month and a half ago, that this was going to be a huge, huge story going down the stretch. Who gets COVID, who doesn't get COVID. And, the Bucs are doing a good job. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact most of the Buccaneer players had COVID before the season started. Living here in Florida, you get exposed to it. And you get exposed to it everywhere. You can't hide. Eventually you will. But, and thankfully everybody, for the most part, is vaccinated on this team. So there's no real risk of anybody getting really sick, which is a good thing. The vaccines work for that, but they clearly don't work to keep you from getting COVID. And this new strain, the Omicron strain, appears to be highly, highly, highly contagious, but thankfully not very dangerous compared to the others. So that's the good news. And we're going to talk through some alternatives of what these leagues are going to do. Are there going to be shutdowns? I don't know. I think with all these tests, overreaction is usually the norm. So we got a Brown team that's been decimated now. You were talking about this. Welcome in Nick Guest from Outkick.com. The Browns have multiple people testing positive. The Rams have multiple people testing positive. Baker Mayfield testing positive today. Coach Kevin Stefanski testing positive. That's a game that may be in jeopardy this week.
There's been 75 players alone that tested positive last 2 days. Clearly, we're off to a running start here on Wednesday. It's the playoff season. The NFL sent a memo out to teams saying, got through this last year, we're going to do it again. There wasn't this many people testing positive last year like there are this year, unfortunately.
And there wasn't a vaccine last year.
No, there was not. And listen, the vaccine's doing its job.
Yeah, it's keeping people from getting
people from getting sick. But if that's the case, why do we have to sit out 10 days and all these different protocols?
It's silly.
It just, to me, it makes the whole season that I thought felt like a regular season, it's starting to come off a little phony now.
What good is a vaccine if we don't move on with our lives? I mean, the vaccine is protecting people from dying. I know people are still dying, and most of them are unvaccinated and have not had COVID before. The vaccinated people are dying as well. Vaccinated people are collapsing on courts, and nobody's talking about it. The Utah Center happened to him a couple weeks ago. There are so many issues with this thing, and the worst thing we're doing, clearly by suicide rates and mental health rates that are declining, is we just keep trying to put Band-Aids on this thing, and none of it works. We need to just move on. And these things that we're doing, they have good intentions, but all they're doing, and I'm not saying just so we can get the games in, that's not it. I mean, we need to move on with life. People are losing jobs, losing their careers, losing their freedoms, losing all these things. And, as much as some of these measures are well-intended, the research shows that they don't work. So why do we continue to do them? Why are people sitting in quarantine? The NHL players now are thinking about not going to China because if they get a positive test, even a false positive test, they have to quarantine in China for 3 to 5 weeks. Yeah. And I'm just saying, they're probably where they quarantine not going to be close to the standards of an NHL player's usual domiciles.
No.
Just a hunch.
Yeah.
So no, there's no NHL players are going to go.
No,
with that,
I
with
don't
that
think
mandate.
so.
No way.
I don't think
why
so.
Why? And their team should not allow them because we're not. Half of our team's going to be at the Olympics. The Lightning. We're going to let these guys go and risk an outbreak where they're not even sick and they're sitting in some quarantine box in China for 5 weeks. Are you out of your effing mind? No. Hell no. No. As much as they want, but again, these are rules made by people and men who just don't know what the F they're doing, and they're not following science anyway. Yeah. So anyway, it's become a big part of what's happening in sports right now, and it's going to, as we predicted this a month ago, that this was going to be a huge thing for the NFL. And if my dumb ass could see this coming a mile away, why couldn't the NFL?
You can't even really answer the question.
I mean,
you really can't even answer the question.
Yeah, it's none of it because none of it makes sense.
None of it's based in any science or any sense.
I'd like just for one day somebody to come to a podium and say, "Here's why we're doing this particular protocol because of X, Y, Z, blah 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 blah, and here's the data behind it." And the actual data be real would help too, but they don't do that because none of it makes sense. They're just throwing darts blindly and hoping something sticks, but at the same time creating a very onerous atmosphere to get anything done.
Well, in other news, though, we do have breaking news kind of off the top that we had touched on this year or the past few days. We were all speculating about Max Johnson and his brother.
Yes.
My coworker, Glenn Goebel, who covers the SEC for Outkick, he just broke this story here that the tight end, Jake Johnson, is committed to Texas A&M.
Just broke my heart. Anthony Beck texted me that this morning.
Yeah.
Woke me up with it. I'm like, you rat bastard.
And Brad Johnson just told Glenn that Max is going to announce tomorrow. But
I wonder where he's going.
Yeah. So looks like the curse of Jimbo once again coming back to get you. Brad,
what are you doing? What are you doing? I wonder what happened at FSU because I know they were looking at FSU. Maybe, but we talked about this. They have Jordan. If you bring Max and Jay, does that shake your entire team, your momentum? You got a team that's kind of growing together under Jordan Travis, who's our unquestioned leader. You got AJ Duffy coming in. Norvell has always pointed towards 22 and 23 classes, and I think what happened here, he's probably not that he had the choice. Maybe Jake and Max wanted to go to play for Jimbo Fisher, whatever is the case, but. Maybe that was the pack. He wants to be loyal to the guys that he's already recruited. So good for him.
And the other thing too, A&M's quarterback Zal Calzada had entered the portal. So which
was weird, right?
It was very weird.
Yeah.
But that's a spot open. And this is a team that's putting together what was described yesterday, a generational class.
They really are.
They're going to be competing for a national championship.
And Max and Jake are going to be a huge part of it.
Exactly. So
that may be the linchpin right there of the national championship for the next 2 years, 2-3 years. Had they gone to FSU, I think FSU might be that team because they're putting together a generational class, and now they're going to go to Texas A&M.
Yeah,
how's that feel, Brad?
Get richer right there.
What are you doing, Brad? No, it's your dad. All the kids are. And Brad came on the show and talked about this. He empowers his kids to make their own decisions. He's not pushing them one way or another. He's obviously got great relationships with Jimbo and Mike Norvell and all these other coaches. So he's going to act, make sure his kids have most of the information and the best information that they have, and then let them make their choice. But probably a good choice, as much as I hate to say it. They're loaded.
Plus, I mean, Florida State, no OC right now. They just had to put what was it? Alex Atkins, I think, got promoted to OC today.
Yeah, breaking news. Ken Dillingham, their offense coordinator, who's been with Norvell for a long time, now going to Oregon. Alex Atkins, who was the OC at, I believe, Charlotte, who was their offensive line coach, now gets elevated to the offensive coordinator. Of course, Mike Norvell is pretty much the offensive coordinator anyway. Yeah. I mean, he pretty much runs the show there. But, yeah, so maybe that will affect FSU's recruiting. They just picked up a 4-star edge rusher from Miami that I don't think people thought I don't think he was on their list. I'm not going to throw out a bunch of names here that folks don't know, but I'll just tell you that what their ratings are. And they got the 2 5-star Lake Gibson's Sam McCall, who's a 5-star safety, and Travis Hunter is the number 1 overall recruit in the nation from Georgia. Wide receiver, defensive back, the next Dion, so to speak. So that's already in the fold, and they're picking up more and more commits. They're expected to have a top 10 class. Marvin Jones Jr., his dad, Shade Tree, you might remember, played for the Jets and played All-American at FAU. You're saying it's between Alabama and Georgia?
It's looking more like Alabama, Georgia right now. So outside chance for FSU at this moment.
And the no reports on the NIL money, like who's getting what. It's interesting. FSU Charlie Ward announced last night that he's part of Rising Spear, which is the FSU NIL kind of conglomerate coming together, and he's going to be part of the Players Advisory Board along with Derek Brooks and Kez McCorvey, another former FSU player. So, all these programs are getting their NIL groups together and bringing in their alumni, and it's just interesting how this is all just happening organically. I mean, the NCAA just does not even exist anymore for the most part, which is probably a good thing. But it is the wild, wild west, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on. Florida, meanwhile, it's kind of bringing up the rear in terms of recruiting. Billy Napier is being very, what they're calling, deliberate. They're not making any rash decisions. I think they're probably going to not put a lot into this transition class and maybe look more at the portal this year, and then start their recruiting in earnest for the next couple of years. Looks like for them. Yeah,
he's preaching patience, which is kind of what you got to do right now because he took it over not in a good state, obviously. Right. Usually when guys have these transition classes, you never really get a great class. That's just a thing. And I think rather than swinging and missing on a lot of guys, he's going to keep it small and go towards the transfer portal and build something. So, we'll see what happens with Billy Napier, but definitely if you're a Florida fan and you're freaking out right now, you gotta be patient.
Yeah. It's just not going to be your recruiting year. And sometimes that, remember, as you mentioned, Willie Tiger came in and put together really, a higher ranked class, got some guys, but they all left. Yeah. It's just total attrition there. This is John, third chapter, just tweeted at us at FanStream JP. If you ever want to jump in the show, it seems like the transfer portal has become like an open lottery for players. Absolutely. With the NIL money now, these quarterbacks especially are just basically free agents, and you can go, pick which one you want. But it's interesting. So many were starters that are, like the kid at A&M.
Yeah.
He probably gets wind that Max Johnson's coming. So he bolts last week, and he's out on the market. It's like, it is the wild west.
Yeah.
And he goes to the highest bidder.
Yeah. And even Lane Kiffin, I don't know if you saw him yesterday, very honest about what's going on in college football.
No, I did not.
He literally said, he's like, they're going to go where they're going to get paid the most money. He's like, same as it's always. He said, same as it's always been.
Yeah.
And that, at least he's being honest about it. We knew what was going on.
He said that?
Yeah. At least we knew that was going on under the table. So,
very interesting there. Yeah. I mean, if you know anything about college football, it's always been that way, especially in the SEC, big in the bigger programs. But it's now it's more above board. At least now it's more above the table. Although we're not, we don't really learn who's paying what. I mean, I'm not sure how I guess until you ask the players, there's no public spot where you can go to a fan graph. Somebody needs to come up with a website, NIL website. There's another money making idea throwing out there that I will follow up on. A website that keeps track of who's getting what as best you can. And I bet if you saw that website right now, it would look a lot like the recruiting rankings. Alabama, Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas A&M. It's one of the reasons Jimbo left Florida State, because Texas A&M is going to put the money up and do what they need to do to win.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is.
Your program doesn't have your crap together right now. Sorry for you. Sorry for you.
No, you are screwed. All right, so we'll keep you posted on any breaking news as far as. Oh, we didn't mention USF, which USF's class is ranked 43rd right now, and they have the top ranked transfer class in the nation. They've got a couple of 4 stars coming back. One kid from Armwood back from North Carolina, I believe. A couple of the guys transferring in. So Jeff Scott really collecting a lot of experienced talent at USF through the transfer portal. So it looks like a really good day for the Bulls. And we'll know more as the show goes on. All right, other stories we got to get to. Stephen Curry last night comes to the all-time leader in 3-point field goals made. What he's doing this year is just unbelievable, because carrying that team, and boy, when Klay Thompson comes back, they're going to be unstoppable. They're going to be the old Splash Brothers. Forget about it.
Yeah. And there's one team, the one player. I don't watch much NBA.
Yeah.
But when he's on, usually around 10 o'clock, I'll throw that on and I'm entertained.
Absolutely.
He has that kind of pulling power, and what a career, man. And he's still going, 33 years old?
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the unbreakable records in NBA history when it's over with.
I got an early glimpse of this brilliance. You never saw this, but his dad, Del Curry, was the greatest shooter I've ever seen with my own eyes. In college, he played for Virginia Tech. And I remember vividly in warm-ups, he would stand over by the scorer's table and just, talking to us. And when I worked with Decker Hoff and some of the other guys, he'd stand over near the scorer's table, kind of almost, a little bit inside half court. And he'd just turn, while he's talking, he'd turn around, shoot, just knocking them down from 40 feet, just routinely. It was just, I'm like, and he was one of the greatest shooters in college basketball history. And then I got to cover him with the Charlotte Hornets. And the dude was, he's about half as quick as his son. And he always had a hard time getting a shot off because he was, he wasn't a great athlete, but one of the great shooters. And then his son just took it to the next level and changed the game. It literally changed the way we play basketball. I mean, that, you want to talk about a transformative talent. He literally revolutionized the game. And if you go back and remember the first time we saw him at Davidson, this spindly little kid, and I'd have told you, oh yeah, that dude's going to change the NBA. What?
No. And even when he happened, the 2014 or 15 season that he took off?
Yeah.
Before that, he was just a really good player in the league.
Yeah.
Nobody really was talking about Steph Curry.
No.
And then he just absolutely just flipped a switch out of nowhere, became one of the greatest players of all time. And, that was around when I was still in high school. So I've seen how it kind of impacted the high school game, or even like just playing regular pickup at a park or whatever. Do you remember the game Knockout by chance?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I played it all the time.
Oh, so you were, okay. I wanted to make sure they played that in your heyday.
Well, not my heyday,
heyday.
But later on with my kids, I played it.
So we went from knockout till everybody's shooting free throws,
right,
to now everybody just says, all right, 3-point shootout.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how it changed even there. Nobody's shooting free throws anymore.
Some of it's good for the game. Some of it, because when I was playing a lot of pickup ball, that's all kids would do. And the worst part about it is like, your shot is horrible. Like, why? Like you think you're the worst shot in the world. You'll make 1 out of 50 of those.
You're talking about me right now.
Yet you still shoot them. Why are you doing that? That's stupid. That's not good basketball. But if you can shoot them like he can shoot them, then you shoot them. And was it Mark Jackson, his original coach?
Yeah, Golden State.
That Golden State. See, that's the other thing. He changed the game so much. You had to have a coach that was willing to say, that's a good shot. When you shoot from 30 feet, it's not a good shot for anybody else. But for you, that's a good shot. We're going to allow you to take that shot.
And that's why Steve Kerr just sits there with his mouth shut and says, do your thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because normally, coach would like, oh, it's a horrible shot. I don't want you taking that shot. Well, if you can hit it 42% of the time, it's a great shot.
Yeah.
It's a great shot. And he's just the best to ever do it. We say this recency bias, 700 touchdown passes. That's never going to be broken, what Brady has done. Never going to be broken. What Steph's doing, I can't see anybody breaking it.
No,
I can't see anybody, but it will be broken.
Yeah, and I'll take it one step further. If you're looking at the pillars of NBA history, transcending the game and transcending being a global superstar, Steph Curry's got to be in your top 3 or 5.
Yeah.
Or top 5 at least. I'm thinking Jordan, LeBron, Kobe. Steph Curry's right there with those at this point.
I agree because of the way he changed the game. Some, people always want to make it about athleticism, and combined with great play. I get that, but not to say that he's not a great athlete. He's just not. He's not LeBron. He's not Michael. He's not the soaring, dunking, crazy type of player like Kobe. But But the name of the game is putting the ball in the basket, and nobody has been able to do it better from a long range and change the game like Steph Curry. And he's a great ambassador for the game. He's a great role model as a man, as a husband. I love that part when the greatest players in your game are great role models. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. All right, what other notes we have to get to? We mentioned Baker Mayfield on the COVID list, Chris Jones for the Chiefs on the COVID list. This I said it a month ago. This is going to decide who makes the playoffs in a lot of places. Cleveland's right on the cusp without Baker Mayfield. Are they better or are they worse? I don't know. We'll find out. But I think key players like Chris Jones. I mean, you lose a player like Chris Jones. I mean, if the Bucs were to lose Brady, but the Bucs have done a good job. They really have. All right. One other story I had to get to. This came out yesterday. Phillip Adams. Did you see this story? This is just so sad. He's the ex-NFL player who killed and shot 6 people in South Carolina last year, Rock Hill, South Carolina. He killed his doctor, and anyway, it was just a horrible, horrible, horrible situation. Well, they finally got the autopsy back, and his CTE was really, really bad. Like really, really bad. One of the worst cases that they've seen. Stage 4. They talked about his erratic behavior, his aggression, explosive aggression, depression, paranoia, anxiety. They have found where's this study? One recent study found signs of debilitating CTE disease in 111 NFL players whose brains were inspected. That's a wow. That's a wow number. 32 years old, a 7th round pick, but stayed in the league for 6 seasons, had multiple concussions. And, this is one of the most horrible stories. I don't know what the answers are, but it's just another thing that when sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, when there's a penalty called or something, just because it's a big hit, you want to, that was a clean hit. He hit him in the torso, didn't use his head, blah, 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 blah. We just got to keep this in mind. We just got to keep it in mind. And I don't know if eventually it's going to be the end of the NFL, but numbers like that are startling. And what happened is just, it's horrific. Again, I don't know or profess to know what the answers are in this situation, but it's good to have the information. No question about that. All right. What else did we want to get? Oh, we want to get to some more of the Lightning before we get to the break, because Brian Bradley's going to join us at 10:45. But we heard the first goal. Let's hear from John Cooper from last night. By the way, I don't think we talked about this much, but Coop got his 400th win faster than anybody in the history of the NHL. Last night, the Lightning Vision did a great tribute to Coop video at the beginning of the game. Really, really well done. As always, our Lightning Vision team on top of it. And Coop, as humble as ever, talking about his 400th win. So congratulations to him, and off they go. And now reinventing this team again with a completely different roster.
Yeah, and a team that, for whatever reason, loves playing in overtime.
Yes, they do.
For the most part, they win these games. So
flip the switch.
That's what Cooper get us off started here, talking about this team and their knack for winning in OT.
I don't know. I think you get no overtime. At least you munching points, like I always say. But
is he on the beach?
Definitely some confidence when you get saves like Vasi made there on Kopitar. Overtime's part of the game. getting points is part of the game. Yes, we've been in a few this year. I think we've been in more this year than we have all last year combined. Obviously getting some favorable results, but I think it comes with the belief of winning games, and the guys believe they can win games, and especially in overtime. So they've been doing it.
I feel like needed a Mai Tai listening to that.
I don't know what in the world the Lightning did, but the second Cooper started speaking, it just
It sounded like waves crashing in the background there. What a night for Matthew Joseph. Big lift. And boy, now you talk about a player that has really come on and started adding to the attack and starting to finish. A little lucky bounce last night, but hey, it was a great aggressive move in overtime. Vasi makes a huge save on Kopitar. Did you see the picture in the Times?
Yes, I did.
Up top picture of Vasi stretched out in full split, and his left pad just making the great save on Kopitar. Do we have the bite from Cooper about any male that saw that would hurt?
I didn't include it, but he was really small in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
and he was like, any male that
Any
saw
male
that
in the
just kind
room
of cringed or whatever.
That dude, he is so freaking limber. My God.
I mean, you watch him in pregame. I mean, he's stretching out like that, and I'm thinking, how does he not pull anything?
He goes
doing that.
If you look at that spread eagle there on the ice, he can cover post to post at 6'3", 6'4". He can cover post to post when he's in his splits with his pads. That's amazing. That's amazing that he can do that.
There's no other goalie in the league that's probably stopping that. There's really not.
No,
I mean, Kopitar is one of the skilled players in the league, makes an unbelievable move. And Vasilevskiy, just no panic, just slide. It's crazy. And we've seen it. We see it at least once a week, it feels like.
Crazy good. It's crazy good. We got any other lightning sound they used this morning? Matthew Joseph, any of those other cats? No. All right, we'll go to the break.
It's all beachy.
It's all got that beachy sound to it. I know I might fall asleep on the beach here. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we will chat with TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy. We'll talk about the Bucs and the Saints. Big game coming up Sunday night as the Bucs try and run the table here. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up. Is your health care way too expensive? Well, with the new Biden administration, health care laws have changed dramatically. Now you can get health care insurance through the Affordable Care Act for little or no cost to you. In fact, with the new laws, 90% of Americans qualify for reduced or free health care. Great plans like Florida Blue. That's my carrier. Absolutely love them. I'm paying $600 less after making the call. 877-652-0244. The representative will walk you through the whole process. Just get some basic information on your income, number of kids, and then they'll find a plan that best fits your needs. They know all the intricacies of these new laws. They will do all the work. You save tons of money. This opportunity will not last long, and you'll have to wait till 2022 to get the deal. So give them a call. It's real health insurance, free doctor visits, free blood work, no deductibles. 877-652-0244. 877-652-0244. Are you in the market for refinance or looking for a new
Source, the best place to go get your diamond for an engagement. They helped me out so much. They were so courteous to me for somebody who was so nervous. And it's Christmas time, like you said. If you're thinking about popping the question, you need to go to Gold and Diamond Source.
It's the Jewelry Supercenter, fully stocked, fully staffed, and yes, just a short drive from downtown Tampa or wherever you're coming from, right there on Ulmerton Road. Avoid the madness at the malls. And whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for that 10-carat custom design, they have it all. 9 jewelers in-house ready to make your dreams come true. Even layaways, 100% interest-free financing up to 5 years. Shop now for your best selection at the Gold and Diamond Source and make your lady wonderfully happy, like Nick did. That's absolutely. Shop anytime online at thegoldanddiamond.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at PalermoPA.com. And joining us now, the great sideline man from the Buccaneers, TJ Rives. What's up, partner? How are you?
Always good to be with you, my friend.
Busy day in sports.
In your world.
National Early Signing Day. I know you cover college football as we do here extensively, and it's a big day. This is where national championships are won. Even with the transfer portal, I would still have to say this is probably the biggest day of the year. It's not even football season, so to speak, for college football with the break between bowl games, but it's a big day. It's a big day. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always it's fascinated me really for 25 years or more how much the adults get so crazy over the 17 and 18-year-olds and what's going to happen. And I realize there are a bunch of people interested in all of this. And yes, you do help yourself. A lot of it is overrated, but we don't know that for a year or two on what a guy can or can't do. But yeah, some of these stories are fascinating. I mean, I'm pulling and rooting as you are, and you have him on all the time for our buddy Anthony Beck and his son Rocco Beck, who officially signed today with Iowa State.
Yes.
And it's gonna be really interesting if Rocco lights it up in Ames, Iowa, how all of these programs in the state of Florida, several of which need a quarterback, someone Seminoles included in this, but likewise USF, for example, right in this market, need a quarterback. And can't keep a kid like that from the area
right in your backyard.
If he goes to Iowa State and lights up. It's amazing.
Yeah, and we'll see how it all plays out. But with the transfer portal now and the NIL money, it's like the wild west. There's millions of dollars being thrown around now at these kids, and it just goes to.
And by the way, can I just chime in for the former coaches, Gene Chizik, some other former coaches that are now sounding off about the NIL and the college experience? You took every dollar of your contract, including in Gene Chizik's case, who still lives here, I believe, in this area most of the year. He does a lot of work for ESPN out of Charlotte. But he took millions of dollars after being fired at Auburn without hesitation and without problem. Meanwhile, the players for decades have received nothing. And now we have former coaches that have made tens of millions of dollars bemoaning that the system is giving the players some of it back. So please, stop with that.
We're starting to see what the player's worth is now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting how that works? That is a great point, by the way. And because when the players leave, they have knee injuries and head injuries, and they leave college and they're not drafted. Are they getting any severance pay? Any insurance?
Nope.
No, I don't think they are. So,
it
ain't perfect, but as I said,
been a one-way avalanche for a long time on who's been making all of the money. So, I mean, I was talking to somebody about this before, and this is obvious when we move on, and I realize it's the hated Gators. How much money would Tim Tebow have made under the NIL with, I mean, we're talking about he was easily worth $5 million to the Florida Athletic budget, maybe more, maybe $10 million that he was worth to the budget. How much would he have been worth on his own deals back 10, 12 years ago at his height?
What they say, some economists said that every national champion's worth about $100 million to the university in donations and advertising and promotion over, the extent of how long that lingers. So, I mean, suddenly the players that make it happen are more valuable when you actually have to bid for them. So, it's interesting. All right. So, what did you your ground level take on this win over the Bills on Sunday. By the way, what an atmosphere, huh? I mean, you were obviously been here long as I have. It just harkens back to some of those Monday night games, Sunday night games against the Rams, packed house, energy through the roof. I mean, I'd probably put it at 65-35, 70-30 Bucks to Bills fans. But you know what? Great. They added energy to and they walked out with an L. So it's all good.
Well, and I will say they did a better job of getting their hands on tickets than what the Giants fans did on the Monday night game. Now, Buffalo has obviously had more success than the Giants the last 2 or 3 years in recent memory. And a lot of those people that were there are residents in this area and are retired, and some of them root for the Buccaneers for every game except when they play the Bills. So we got to keep all of that in account for being out there. I don't know that I go along with. I don't think it was 20,000. I think it was probably closer to 10 to 15,000, somewhere in that way. In that range, the Bills fans, certainly on the east side of the stadium in the sun behind the Bills bench, they had a large contingent behind the bench. They had a large contingent up in the 300 level. There were some in the end zones, but over on the west side of the stadium where everybody sits in the shade, not a lot.
Right.
So again, it was a great atmosphere, and this is nothing new. We've seen this when the Steelers show up and get their hands on the tickets, or the Packers show up and get their hands on the tickets. That's nothing new. That Buck fans are willing to sell. The interesting thing is it was Buck fans selling their season tickets to all of these Bills fans. It wasn't just leftover tickets that they got their hands on unsold.
But so that was it's Christmas time.
Well.
People need a little Christmas cash, and you can literally pay for your entire season ticket allotment with one game. I have a hard time faulting fans for that. It was still a great home field atmosphere. I think more made of it than probably needs to be. But I mean, more than anything, the play on the field of this team continues to accelerate as they go down the stretch. And it's something that has been a hallmark of Brady teams for years and years and years. It sounds cliche, but every week he talks about getting better. And that's exactly what they're doing. They've done it with a depleted roster in some places. And it's hard not to look at this team right now and say they're going to run the table. They're locked in. They're playing their best football. They're getting healthy. And I fully expect them to take care of the Saints and run the table. And I think if they do that, I think they'll be the number one seed. What do you think?
I think all of that is accurate, because if you're at 14-3, I think that both the Cardinals and the Packers are going to lose one more time.
Yep.
Somewhere, somehow. And then in the tiebreaker, it's going to be very interesting how that works out when they haven't played head-to-head, because none of the three, I don't believe the Cardinals, the Packers play. Correct me. Nick can correct me on that looking at it if I'm wrong, but I don't think the Packers play before the end of the year.
Here's how it works out. If the Packers will have to lose one for the Bucs to go over them with their conference record. Then it might come down to common opponents with the Cardinals, and the Bucs would win that head-to-head. So with their win over Dallas. So it basically is Packers have to lose one, Bucs win out, and they're tied with the Cardinals, which the big win the other night by the Rams made that possible. The Bucs will be the number one seed. So right now we're hoping that all of our hopes rest on the little pinky toe of Aaron Rodgers, giving him lots of pain and causing them to lose a game, which I think they might. I mean, they got to go to the Ravens this week. They're saying Lamar's going to play. So don't know about that, but if that's a spot where they could lose a game. They're at the Lions at the end of the year. I don't think they'll lose that one, but you just never know. Yeah, they're terrible. And who else they got? Oh, they
have the Vikings at home.
They got the Vikings and the Browns
at Minnesota. Do they have the Vikings at home?
Yeah, they got the Browns coming so they're at the Ravens, then the Browns come to Lambeau, the Vikings come to Lambeau, and then they're at Detroit. So hopefully the Browns will come to Lambeau, drop some COVID, take Aaron Rodgers out of a game. No, he's already had it, so he doesn't have to. So he's not even being tested, so he's good.
Who's even playing for the Browns? And I just saw Stefanski, the coach, can't coach for the game with the Raiders. Baker Mayfield has it. There's several other Browns, and there's concern now that they may delay that game if the Browns don't have enough guys or enough coaches. And how do we feel about that in 2021 when everybody was warned every which direction that there would be consequences if you didn't take care of business and you're testing positive all over the place? Let's see what the NFL does over the next couple of days, depending on how bad this is with Cleveland or with any other team. Hey, back to the Bills game. Couple more observations because you asked me about field level. So first of all, when Perriman caught the pass and took off, that was obviously away from me down the other sideline.
Right.
I could no longer hear Gene and Dave in my headset despite Gene screaming, Perriman, Perriman, Perriman.
Great call.
So that's how deafening it was. And I can testify, having been at every one of these home games, even at the ones with no fans last year and limited fans last year, that's easily the loudest that stadium was.
Unbelievable.
In the last 5 years, and maybe even in the last 10 years for any of these games. There were a couple of big moments in big games where maybe it was close to that loud, but for that kind of moment to win a game in overtime with the playoffs looming, etc., I mean, that is like the late 90s, the early 2000s, when the place would rock every time that the Bucs would be out there winning a big game, Monday Night Football, like you said, Sunday Night Football, playoff game, whatever. So it was a good taste of that. A couple of more things. Number one, the belly aching from the Bills fans. And fans are great all over the place. The Bills have loyal fans, and they're hurting. They're stinging because they've lost, like 5 of their last 7 games now. So they've got probably either 5 of 7 or 5 of 8 that they've lost, including back-to-back here. So they're stinging. But enough about the officiating. The officiating, I mean, if it is one horrible call at the very end on the last play of the game or something like, okay, or something that obviously is wrong that decided the game, that's more. But first of all, you're down 24-3 in the first half.
Right.
Score more points. Don't fall behind 24-3.
Right.
The second thing is that everybody wants to focus on the play at the end of regulation where Stefan Diggs and Carlton Davis were hand fighting right in front of me.
Right.
And Davis did something that the Bills defenders that got called twice didn't do. He turned his head around and was trying to make a play on the ball as well while the hand fighting's going on, and they let it go. That was right in front of me. But let's back up on the possession before that, where the Bucs have the ball. They're trying to burn the clock. It's 27-24. There's a third down play. There's 3.5 minutes left in the game. The Bills have 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning, and the Bucs get a first down completion to Chris Godwin, and we have 2 flags down on the field, one on the Bills for defensive holding, one on the Bucs for offensive holding.
Right.
But the referee, I will name the name, Scott Novak, completely missed the Bill defender, the right defensive end, hitting Tom Brady in the helmet.
Right.
He grazed him, yes, but he hit him in the helmet. And that is supposed to be an automatic call. We have seen it called over and over again for like 3 years, and they missed it. And that's a personal foul that's going to trump the 2 offsetting calls, give the Bucs an automatic first down, and allow them to virtually run the clock under the 2-minute warning where the Bills would have had no timeouts left, where one more first down certainly ends the game. The whole dynamic, the whole end of the game, the Diggs call or not, the Evans pass interference in the overtime or not, all of that is moot if they call the penalty they should have called, Bill fan, and those belly aching, which is a blow. And Brady turned right around to Novak. He hit me in the head, and it's not reviewable, and he didn't call it. So while we're setting the record straight on the officiating, let's add that into the mix. Again, score. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, Buffalo had the ball to begin in overtime, right?
They did.
And was that the officials that stopped the Bills?
No, it wasn't.
From going down and getting points, or was that the Bucs defense?
It was an inaccurate throw.
And the Bucs had 3rd and
Allen.
5 at midfield, and that was the officials, or was that Brashad Perriman that caught the pass? And was that the refs, or was that Brashad Perriman?
No, I think it was Brashad Perriman.
I'm not sure.
And that was Brady making the throw, and the offensive line doing a hell of a job picking up that stunt. Leonard Fournette with a great job picking up the stunt. And the rest is history, my friend. And that place just absolutely exploded. Now, hey, big game coming up. I mean, don't take the Saints lightly. It's a hell of a defense. I know the Bucs are favored by 11. That's ridiculous. I think
that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. But don't.
Especially with what the Saints have done in the rivalry, especially in the regular season.
Yes,
that's a large line.
What, they won 5 in a row in the series?
In the regular season.
In the regular season, yeah. There was that one other game.
And they humiliated this team, as you know. And you're going to talk about not only today, but the rest of the week. They humiliated this team on Sunday Night Football a year ago.
That's right.
In November. Now, granted, Drew Brees is the quarterback. So, but still, they're trying to get you to wager. We all know this.
Yes.
So that's why they put that line out there. And it is interesting that the Buccaneers now this season have played 6 home games and are 5-0. Well, actually, they played 6 home games and they're 5-1 against the number.
Yeah.
So that is a large number, and they're 9 more 3 times already this year at home with the Bears, the Dolphins, and one other one recently. So the Falcons.
Yeah,
too.
it comes
They
down
covered
to
a 10 or more point line. So let's see. Let's see what happens Sunday. It'll win. That's going to put the division away. I really believed, it's easy to say, but I was saying it on your show and elsewhere. I believed that once they got past Indianapolis, the biggest roadblock was to win that game with Buffalo, playoff caliber team, to keep you from running the table. Now, you still got to go out and take care of the business. But, man, if you're talking about 8 wins in a row, got to win them one at a time to end the season, possible number 1 seed, no worse than a 2 seed if you're doing that, I believe.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
take that.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
take that.
Absolutely. And your quarterback's going to be the MVP after these 4 games, too. So, hard.
Yeah, it's a compelling game.
It's a hell of a season. Enjoy every minute of it, folks. Enjoy don't sell your tickets. Enjoy every minute of this, especially the Saints fans. Don't do that. All right, partner, tell everybody how they can get your content, Mr. Busiest Man on earth.
Always be on with you. Always fun. It's Buccaneers Radio. We're on the air at 7 Sunday night. 98 Rock here locally, Buccaneers Radio Network, Buccaneers mobile app. The Nothing But Bucks recap podcast. I recap the game, analysis, highlights of Gene and Dave calling it, post-game interviews. All of that is on Nothing But Bucks, wherever you get podcasting on the Buccaneers mobile app on the day after the game. All good other than that, my friend. We got boxing, by the way.
Oh, that's right.
This Saturday. You'll be talking boxing later this week.
We will.
We got boxing Saturday night. Big Fight Weekend is the website that I'm partnered in. And we'll be covering Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, and the rematch, and Amanda Serrano. How about Amanda Serrano, the female world featherweight champ? She's the co-feature fighter. She's a great fighter.
Yeah.
She's entertaining. She's getting more and more publicity. She fired the coils last night, friend, prior to that game.
Leading to an overtime
I know
win.
Joseph got the game-winning goal, but Serrano got things started by firing the coils at the beginning of the game there last night, and now she'll be firing the fists on Saturday night at Amalie Arena.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
Coop wanted to get her on skates and send her in the third period. Little goon squad.
Go be an enforcer.
Yeah, little enforcer.
She has got a wicked left. I don't think the Kings would have wanted any part of that left hand that Amanda Serrano had. Look out for Saturday.
Go tune up Anzi Kopitar a couple times. It'd be nice. Salute. All right, bro. Good stuff. We'll check with you next week.
Always good to be with you. You guys behave.
Thanks. We're going to talk some Lightning next. Brian Bradley will join us, Lightning All-Star, and we'll chat about last night's overtime win. 3-minute break. Stay with us.
JP here for Roof Mac. If you want a home or business with an asphalt shingle roof, listen up. Shingles are made from a petrochemical, just like the roads, so they get old, get brittle, and have to be replaced for tens of thousands of dollars. But not anymore. Remember this name, Roof Max. They have created a natural bio oil that is professionally sprayed on a dried out roof. It doesn't clean it, coat it, or seal it. It actually penetrates the shingle and brings back its bendability and weatherproofing properties to almost new. So the question is, does it work? Yeah, the research was done by Ohio State University independently, and it's clinically proven to work. It's guaranteed for up to 15 years. Now, one of the sharks on Shark Tank invested in this, so you know it's great, and they've successfully rejuvenated tens of thousands of roofs. So yes, it worked. So don't shell out $20,000 for a new roof. Call RoofMax at 352-559-9981 or go to roofmaxnorthflorida.com. That's 352-559-9981. Get it done for a fraction of the price of a new roof, guaranteed. Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Blackrock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency. at the malls. And whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for that 10-carat custom design, they have it all. 9 jewelers in-house ready to make your dreams come true. Even layaways, 100% interest-free financing up to 5 years. Shop now for your best selection at the Gold and Diamond Source and make your lady wonderfully happy like Nick did. That's absolutely. Shop anytime online at thegoldanddiamond.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. Only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. You can find him at Palermo, PA. He will fight for you for any of your issues with your home insurance company. He's the man, PalermoPA.com. All right, speaking of the man, it's the great Brian Bradley, Lightning's first All-Star, leading scorer for those many, many years. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good, JP. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm great. We got an overtime win last night, baby. It's commonplace now. 8 OT wins for this team, tops in the league. It's this team, even though a lot of them are young, boy, they have confidence that no matter what the score is, they're going to come back and win. That's something special, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? They're just finding a way to win. I mean, you know what? When you look at their record, you know what? 18, 60 to 40 points inside the Florida Panthers yesterday for second place.
Yeah.
After the Panthers got smoked by Ottawa.
Yeah, 8-2.
8-2 at home. But you know what? These guys just find a way to win. I mean, when you talk about guys out of the lineup like, you know, Point, Kucherov, Strelly was just out, Chernak. I mean, it's just amazing our record right now with some key guys. Like, you're talking about marquee guys in the NHL, like superstar players that haven't been in the lineup for a long period of time. So, I mean, you got to give credit to, like, you know, Stamkos to me has been playing unbelievable. I mean, probably some of his best hockey. Vasilevskiy, Edmund, but like we talked about at JP, the young kids, Raddysh, Tkachuk, and Ross Colton, they've really picked it up on that third line. And, you know, Corey Perry and Maroon and, you know, Belmar on the fourth line have been outstanding. But those other guys have all played well.
They really have. And, you know, credit the coaching staff who's done a great job of working these guys in. I mean, you've played this game. You've been on teams when you lose, you know, when a player like yourself goes down, a leading scorer, it's not commonplace. I mean, it takes time for teams to kind of get their lines together and get the chemistry going. And the Lightning are making this look easy, just plugging in players and winning. And a lot of that is because of that guy that's in goal. He's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, JP. I mean, Vasilevskiy's so good. I mean, to me, there's such a big difference between the Vasilevskiy and the next best goalie. I mean, Carey Price might be up there, but he's hurt. But
yeah,
I mean, besides that, there is nobody to me that's close to Vasilevskiy in net. He's just the best goalie in the NHL, in the world by far. And, you know, he gives you a chance to win every night, even though you're not playing well. To me, last night, I thought the team came out flat in the first 10 minutes after a 5-game road trip. You know, got behind 1-0. You know what? You know, Drew Doughty scored a goal. That was a bullet shot.
A blast.
I mean, you know, there's no way. He didn't, you know, he didn't see it, but he kept us in the game right at the beginning when we were in trouble. We could have been down 2 or 3-0 to LA.
Mm-hmm.
To me, LA looked really good. And then Victor Hedman scored a laser beam slap shot from Stamkos.
Whoa.
I mean, that had zero chance to be stopped because to me, that's what Hedman has to do. Take that shot once in a while. I like him going up the ice. So to me, it was a good team win. We're just finding ways to win. That's what happens when you have Stanley Cup teams that been to the finals the last couple of years. Guys know how to play. They know what they're doing. And, you know, when things aren't going well, they don't panic. They get into situations where they know how to get out of right now. And you know what? That's what a great team does. And that's what they did last night.
Yeah, and these kids, Brian Bradley joining us here. Taylor Raddysh with another goal last night. That's 4, I think, maybe in the last, 6 games for him. I mean, this kid's got a nice little backhand tip in. He got his stick on the puck, and it goes in the back of the net. That kid is really, really making a mark here. What do you think of Raddysh's game?
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? Like I've talked about before, that's the line we were kind of worried about.
Yep.
I like line 1, 2, and 2 and 4, but you know, when you talk about the lines with Raddysh and, you know, Boris Tkachuk and Ross Colton, you know, just because they're on the third line, they got to produce. They got to put a couple goals in here. And I like the way they played. You know, Colton had the assist on the game winner. You know, Joseph scored in overtime. But I think that line's really starting to come to life. And you know what? You know, Raddysh has got a great shot. He can really shoot the puck. So And I like him on the power play too. He's did really good out there. But I mean, you got to understand, we're going to be bringing back probably in the next 2 weeks, Kucherov and Point. I mean, that's huge for the Lightning. I mean, those guys, you can't even describe how good they are. I mean, it's like taking Connor McDavid and the guy Draisaitl out of Edmonton. I mean, how good would they be? They wouldn't even win a game if you ask me. This team, wins games with Vasilevskiy. We have players, so give Julian Breezewell, give John Cooper and his coaching staff a lot of credit because they've had to mix and match a lot of guys around, and you know what? They did a terrific job so far.
Brian Bradley joining us here. Do other teams around the league look at what the Lightning are doing and kind of go, man, how the hell are they doing this with all these guys out? And is that kind of a little intimidating to them to like, here come the Lightning again. We can't get rid of these guys.
Yeah, and I think the other teams know that no one wants to play the Lightning in the first round of the playoffs, especially back-to-back Stanley Cups. So, you know what? And the thing about it is, and we talked about this before, they're a veteran team. They know how to win. Things weren't going good last night in the first 10 minutes against Los Angeles. Like I said, could have been down 2-3-0.
Yep.
But you know what? The one guy we have on our team, he's like no other buddy in the NHL. There's no other goalie that can play like him. And Vasilevskiy, like he literally can win every game by himself. He's that good, JP. He's a superstar player. I mean, you know what? Drafted through Steve Yzerman and you know what? And the organization back, a few years ago. But I mean, you know what? Julian Breezewell, they did a great job. I mean, these guys are superstar players, and you know what? I don't think anybody likes to play Vasilevskiy. I mean, the overtime he saved, against Kopitar, that was a great kick save, a sliding move. But you know what? It's just the same as Jonathan Quick.
Yep.
He made an amazing save on Palat. I mean, he kept him in the game, and you know what? It could have went either way. I thought both goalies played exceptionally well last night. So, you know what? Jonathan Quick's won a Stanley Cup in LA before, so I thought both goalies were outstanding last night. It was an entertaining game from a team like LA, which you don't expect much because their record's not great.
But they're fast. They're Andrew Chuck said that last night. I was hanging out with him a little bit last night. And he said, you said it too. It's like these guys are as fast. They're way faster than they used to be. And remember, when they were winning cups, they were kind of a big plotting team. They just beat the hell out of you and had some skill up front, good goaltending. But this is a totally different team. This is where the league is going. They're a fast team, and they came out. I think it was like shots were like 7-1. The Lightning got outshot, I think, 11-3 in the first period, but they came back and outshot them 12-4, I think, in the second period, and kind of got back in the game. And that's what they tend to do each and every night. So it's good to see. What about Joseph, who scores the game winner last night? Here's a guy that at all, in the beginning of the season was getting breakaways and couldn't score, and suddenly he's found a way to finish.
You know what? It's good for him. And one of the things about Matthew Joseph, and I like him, he's got 5 goals now, but he shot the puck.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of times he would come in, he uses his speed. He's a great penalty killer. He uses his speed to drive wide, but he'd get into that perfect situation and he wouldn't shoot the puck. Or if he shot it, it would get blocked. He's got a good shot. It's got to just get through. He's just got to beat the defenseman. There was nothing. Ross Cole made a good play. They had a 3-on-1 in overtime. And you know what? I was just hoping that he'd shoot the puck because someone could go for a rebound.
Yes.
He shot the puck. It kind of hit quick, went back, might have hit the defenseman or make the hit quick and went in the net. But at the end of the day, you got to shoot the puck to score goals.
That's right.
And, that's what he's doing now. So same as Ross Cole, and so is Boris Tkachuk and Tyler Raddysh. They're those kids they're playing great. They're big. They're physical. And you know what? At the end of the day, I'm happy for Joseph and the kids because that's what we need to come through. We need them to chip in and score some goals.
Absolutely. All right, we got Ottawa coming in Thursday night. Need a little payback for that 4-0 shutout up there. So, and they just blasted the Panthers 8-2 last night. So, should be another good one Thursday night. All right, partner. Appreciate your time. As usual, my friend. Have a great holiday season, you and your lovely wife and the family, and we'll chat with you next week.
Yep.
All right, thanks, partner.
We'll see you at the game tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
Go Bolts.
Indeed. Go Bolts. Go Bolts. Yeah. Another game tomorrow night. Can't wait. All right, quick break. When we come back, we will update what's going on with college recruiting, some late ads here. Nick just gave me the stink eye. Might be some bad news coming my way. And we'll talk some Bucks as well. Coming up at 11:30, Bruce Gradkowski will join us. So stay with us. Big second hour coming your way.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP, Santa, and young Saint Nick Geddes right over here. My partner for the Golden Diamond Source. You hear that? Christmas music. It's Christmas time. You just popped a question to your lady from the Golden Diamond Source diamond that you got.
Yes, I did. The Golden Diamond Source, the best place to go get your diamond for an engagement. They helped me out so much. They were so courteous to me for somebody who was so nervous. And it's Christmas time, like you said. If you're thinking about popping the question, you need to go to Golden Diamond Source.
It's the Jewelry Supercenter, fully stocked, fully staffed, and yes, just a short drive from downtown Tampa or wherever you're coming from, right there on Ulmerton Road. Avoid the madness at the malls. And whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for that 10-carat custom design, they have it all. 9 jewelers in-house ready to make your dreams come true. Even layaways, 100% interest-free financing up to 5 years. Shop now for your best selection at the Gold and Diamond Source and make your lady wonderfully happy, like Nick did. That's absolutely. Shop anytime online at thegoldanddiamond.com.
Hey, JP here for the Blackrock Bar and Grill, and they got a new menu out, Johnny. This is unbelievable. Some incredible burger creations. Here's my new favorite, mac and cheese burger. Half pound of certified Angus beef, American cheese, bacon, finished with our macaroni and cheese. Are you kidding me? Or a nacho burger with fried jalapenos, grilled onions. They got a ghost pepper chipotle burger. That's hot. Or the Fat Elvis burger. I mean, there's so many good burgers on this thing. It's amazing. What do you like?
I've been taking a look at the seafood section of this summer menu. 8 jumbo shrimp. Unbelievable, man. It goes perfectly with their burgundy mushrooms.
Oh, I love the mushrooms.
It's delicious.
So good. Of course, you get the steak on a 755-degree stone. You cook it right there in the garlic butter, the casino butter. It's fillets. You can do your shrimp on it, your chicken. It's unlike any other place. It's the Blackrock Bar and Grill. You got to go. It's a new menu. Tell them JP sent you. Brandon and Carrollwood. Get to the Blackrock.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
Well. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Christopher will fight for you if you've got a home builder that screws you over. That's his wheelhouse. Also, if you have stucco damage, keep an eye on your house. You get a little stucco damage here and there. The cracking will lead to water damage, then maybe black mold in your house. Cannot have that. And your home insurance company is not going to want to give you the money that you deserve. So make sure you get your free consultation with Christopher Palermo. Go to palermopa.com. Give him a call. Tell him you heard it on the JP Show, and he'll tell you whether you have a case or not. Any storm damage, any issues with your home insurance company, that is certainly right up his alley. Any commercial litigation that you have against companies, right up his alley. So give him a call. Go to palermopa.com and get your free consultation. All right. Well, this may be one of the biggest recruiting stories, frankly, in history, with the NIL money that's coming into it, and the rise of historically black colleges having big years and getting more publicity with Deion Sanders at Jackson State. What do you have there, Nick Geddes, in this breaking news? FSU fans, if you're driving your car, I would suggest you pull over, take a deep breath so you don't crash.
Yeah, so 24/7 Sports Director of Recruiting Steve Wiltfong is reporting that Jackson State has a really good chance of landing Travis Hunter, the #1 overall player in the class. Deion Sanders yesterday was hyping up that he was going to make a monumental splash tomorrow, which is today, early signing day. And there is a lot of growing momentum that FSU is showing lots of concern. And he also says that FSU is currently still in communication with him. And the next few hours are going to be pretty interesting. What's going to happen?
If Travis Hunter flips to Jackson State, that is a earthquake in college football recruiting. It's an earthquake in NIL. Evidently, there's a lot of NIL money involved. So Not exactly sure who's funding the Jackson State NIL, but maybe Prime himself.
Barstool.
Oh,
Because
Barstool.
Dion is with Barstool.
So Barstool funding the NIL.
And Barstool has a lot of NIL athletes.
They do.
Yes. They're one of the first people to get in on it.
Wow. This is
I don't want to be dramatic, but I probably am going to sound like it. If Travis Hunter decommits from FSU on early signing day,
it's a disaster.
It is the code red for FSU.
It
is everything that we have been hinging on the future, that he was the savior of the program because of everybody else that was coming in because of him.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you that FSU right now is probably not going to get too many commits today until Travis Hunter makes his decision. That's just what I'm thinking.
Well, listen, one kid doesn't make or break a program. He could have come here and he's obviously incredibly talented. He wouldn't be a washout, but he could have gotten injured, what have you. One kid's not going to make a program, but if there ever was a situation and a timing situation for a team that was on the rise and had great momentum because of one player, it's Travis Hunter. We've said that all year long. He's the linchpin to the future of Florida State football. And to how ironic is it that the greatest player in football, FSU football history, arguably Deion Sanders, is the one that's going to completely derail Florida State University at the 11th hour. Very, very odd that it's happening that way. And, Deion was in the running for the job at FSU and probably was pretty pissed off that he didn't get it. And now this is his retribution. And it's not about that. He's obviously trying to build his program. He has coach of the year in the SWAC. They went 10-1, Jackson State, had a great season. They're averaging like 45, 50,000 at their stadium in Jackson. It's a great atmosphere. It's just very interesting to see, there's been a lot of momentum for historically black colleges and black, young black kids to support these colleges and go there and make them the better draw, so to speak. Obviously, their facilities are completely subpar to what Alabama and all these other places are because they just haven't had the money over the years, and that's changing. That's it. We talk about leveling the playing field, and if Barstool is bankrolling Jackson State and they get Travis Hunter, this is a seismic shift in college football.
Yeah, it really is. And John, he's very passionate about the HBCUs too.
Yeah.
All season long, he's been fighting for equal rights, so to say, between all these college programs there and everywhere else. He's been leading that charge, and he's made Jackson State, I think they're recruiting right now, in the top 75 or something in all of FBS right now. It's crazy what they're doing there, recruiting standpoint. And that's where there was momentum 2 years ago. When you were hearing Deion's name, people were like, oh, there's no way. He's got no experience. I think people kind of undersold the pull that Deion Sanders has.
Oh, yeah. About recruiting? Are you kidding me?
It's less about X's and O's. You could put a staff around you. You want that guy on your recruiting side any day of the week.
Yeah.
And if this goes through, I can already hear every big Division I program coach probably complaining about it, but
shut up.
First of all,
man.
I just read a quote from Dabo Sweeney who's talking, and he's mouthing off about this. And
what could he possibly say?
He said that it's becoming, education has been moved to the background, and it's the wild, wild west out there. And we need to. He's in favor of making the automatic eligibility going back to having to wait 1 year and all this stuff because of this. And at this point, if you're going to take that standpoint, you're going to get left behind in the dust. You're going to just get left behind.
Maybe that's why everything's crumbling at Clemson. If you're going to live in the in the 1980s, bro, and I've been a huge Dabo fan. This is, I get it. There's nostalgia involved. What we all like to go back to the heyday of college football and blah blah. But again, I say this all the time, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but you did this to yourselves. You greedy mofos. All you coaches, athletic administrators, NCAA. Here scheduling football games. Just stop it. You should have made these shifts a long time ago and controlled the situation, started paying the players, then you wouldn't have this complete revolt with NIL and everything else. You should have controlled the situation. Now it's out of your control because you were greedy and you wouldn't make the needed changes. It's your own freaking fault. So, and for coaches that have benefited from this tremendously, like Dabo has financially, to the tune of 10, 11, 12 million dollars a year in salary when your players aren't getting paid. And you're going to sit there and say, oh, this is terrible that these kids are getting money. What? Shut the F up. My God, how tone deaf can you be? And again, I haven't seen his comments, and I probably shouldn't have, but if that's the way Dabo was speaking, and that's what he's talking about, that's going to be a very bad look for him.
And just to put it up there, I mean, Clemson's not recruiting like Clemson used to do.
Yeah.
They're right now, I think, around 16 or 17 for recruiting.
Wow, they were in the top
They
five
were in the
consistently.
top 5 every single year.
Yeah.
And Dabo Swinney has made a lot. This is not the first time he said something about this. And so he to me, he's getting left behind in the dust when he says things like this. Also, by the way, speaking of Clemson a little bit, USF just got another huge pickup in the portal. A Jew from Clemson, receiver.
Oh, yeah.
He's kind of been shuffled from Clearwater.
Yeah.
6'4", 224, huge body. And this is a huge get. This guy was like a top recruit at Clemson. So Jeff Scott is really doing some big things in the portal right now.
Wow. USF is really, really making a push.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence? Well, none of these kids will ever see the on-campus stadium, even if they approved it tomorrow. Maybe if they stuck around a while, but maybe just even that, them talking about doing this and building big things here has guys coming here in the portal. I think the other thing is at some point kids become mercenaries, and maybe there's some NIL push here at USF. I don't know who's backing them up, where the finances are coming from, because typically they don't have a whole lot of, have some big money boosters, yeah, but not like some of these other colleges do. But it's very interesting how this whole thing is working out. Barstool is such a big brand, especially with the kids, right?
Yes.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but high school football and Barstool and college football, they've got a good branding, right?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. And
wow.
have the by the way, just real quick, I did have the exact quote from Dabo here.
Yeah, let me hear it.
It's chaos right now. Tampering galore. Adults manipulating young men. Education is like the last thing now. And then called for the return of the 1-year sit-out transfer. Keep the focus on graduation/education.
Listen, that sounds good. What are you doing? Come on, Dabo. That is misinformation at its best. So you guys have really been concentrating on graduation and athletics, academics this whole time where you've been making your run. I know they do a better job than most. They do. I have tons of respect for the Clemson program, but things like that, so you haven't been manipulating young men over the years, adults. Manipulation is called what? NIL money? A kid, giving players money. If you're going to say, well, here's, Deion's tricking you into going Jackson State. You're not going to play in a national championship game. You're not going to play in this. You're not going to play in that. Hey, the kids know that. That's their prerogative. Maybe selling them some other stuff. I don't know. But, maybe, it would be, God, I have a big sneeze coming. Excuse me. It would be foolhardy for, I think, Deion to promote HBCUs and then get a great recruiting class and then go take a job somewhere else.
No, I don't think he's that kind of guy. I don't think he is.
So, maybe it's like, yeah, hey, Travis, come here for a year. And then when I, take Mike Norvell's job, you can just come with me to Florida State.
Oh,
no,
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. That's gonna go. But yeah, I'm in shock right now. I still am in shock over this. I really am.
This is going to be the biggest recruiting story just because of the timing of it, the NIL and everything going. The number one recruit in the nation. This is never. Didn't it just happen in basketball though? Didn't one of the top player go to?
He went to an
HBCU?
He went to an HBCU as well.
Right.
This is something that's been picking up a lot of steam.
How
lately.
about that? Interesting.
What are we going to say? It's bad for? No, absolutely not.
No, from a cultural standpoint, they're going to be much happier there. One of the big things when Florida State made their run back in the day, one of the big things for their recruiting that was huge was Florida A&M. They would take these kids on their recruiting trips and they would take them to the parties at Florida A&M, which is right across the street from Florida State. So it was actually like from a cultural living standpoint, a lot of these players, these black athletes would be going to, the enjoying the cultural parts of college at, as I say, at FAMU, and they're more comfortable there. It's some of the black fraternities and some of those other, and that was a recruiting advantage for Florida State. It was kind of like the best of both worlds for these kids.
Yeah.
And now, these programs are getting more money. They're getting better facilities. It's something that they want to do that makes a difference in these programs. I think it's great. I think it's great.
Yeah, it is a great thing. But bringing it back to Florida State, it just, I think 2 days ago, Matt Baker penned a really nice piece in the Times. And I think he said Norvell is the first head coach to ever have back-to-back losing seasons.
Yeah.
And then have a top 10 recruiting class likely coming its way. And there was all this great hype. Later that night, Kenny Dillingham news comes out that he got offered with Oregon.
Wow.
And it seems like since then, seismic shift right now at FSU the last 2 days at the worst time, the absolute worst time.
Things were going really well.
They were too well. Maybe they're going
man.
too well. I don't know. Maybe if you beat Florida at the end, maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, catch a punt, will you, kid? Just get the hell out of the way. That's all you gotta do.
And of course, we're not reporting that Travis Hunter has left or anything. This is just, but
we're out. We're always out in front. We're always out in front. It's a great catch by you, but this is, I know a lot of people don't, they want to poo-poo high school recruiting and, it's one guy. How is he going to ruin your university? Look, we've had a lot of experience in this. You're very good at watching the colleges and the recruits. You got your finger on the pulse of that. I've been covering college football for 30 plus years. I know how these programs work. I know how the system works, and I've watched it evolve. And this will go down in history as one of the biggest moments in college football recruiting. The number one recruit in college football going to an HBCU seismic because of NIL money from Barstool. That is the epitome of everything that's going on right now. And you could say it's good, it's bad, it's whatever, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
And you said it was just one player, and a lot of people are probably like, oh, it's just one player. I challenge you to just, by the way, think of all the outstanding players that FSU has signed and had in college, 5 stars. Travis Hunter is the number one recruit they've ever had.
Yeah, the number one overall recruit. I think Cam Akers was too.
Yeah, Cam Akers, Ernie Sims from way back when, and Travis Hunter, like top 3.
Yeah,
that's the level that Travis Hunter's on. Okay, that this is a program defining, changing, whatever you want to call it, player. And if he's not there,
and I got to tell you right now, with everything that I'm hearing, I would probably say if he's that far down the road with Deion's going to make that happen.
He was in Jackson State too about a couple of days ago.
Deion's going to make that happen. I'll be interested to hear what the money is.
I want to know, and I hope it's public.
Yeah, it's Deion and it's money.
It's Barstool. It'll be
both of those guys.
Yeah,
they want to make it public. Trust me.
Yeah,
shake up the system. From a Florida State perspective, I hate it, but from a cultural and a college football and everything that's going on, I kind of like it.
And
it's an interesting moment.
It does go through when you're a Florida State fan. Probably delete Twitter. Just
Sucks.
Get off.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing the Miami fans are going crazy. They've started. So not ideal.
So Max Johnson and Jake are not coming to Florida State, and now Travis.
They're
Hunter
going to Jimbo Fisher and Deion Sanders killing FSU, man.
Way to go, guys. Way to go. All right. We brought some of that on ourselves. We could have hired Deion.
Could have hired Deion. And hey, whatever you say, despite FSU ended the season great, that mattered at the beginning of the year. Let's not act like that didn't matter. That FSU had to move up mountains to get some of these guys to stay.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll find out what's happening out there in recruiting and give you an update on that. And we'll hit a little lightning stuff and the Bucs as well. And some of the other COVID stories, a lot of COVID stories breaking today vis-a-vis the NFL. We'll update you when we come back. Stay with us.
Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. They didn't give them money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from paying those upfront lender fees. You know those folks that say, we'll pay your closing costs? Well, then they come back and hit you with all these other fees. Folks, go to a local guy who's got a great reputation, been in the business for 20 years here, to 3,000 local mortgages. Scott Fitzgerald. Email him, scott@amstampa.com. That's scott@amstampa.com. Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Blackrock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. We'll close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com. Hey, did you start a new gig, a little side hustle during COVID? Well, if you don't have business insurance, you could be risking your personal fortune. That's how it works. JP here for Italiano Insurance. That's right. If you don't have business insurance, you can get sued and lose everything you've worked for. Not a good idea. Call the good folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. And if you have existing business insurance, shop it around. They could save you thousands of dollars as well. 813-877-7799. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a minute. jpcare.info to find out if you qualify for free service now or it's all used up. Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the law offices of Christopher Palermo, PalermoPA.com. So the pinned tweet on Travis Hunter's Twitter is, if you want to get coached by somebody that's going to push you to the limit, make sure you're the best version of yourself when you want to succeed in life. Mike Norvell is that coach. Can't thank him enough. He's also at Coach Norvell, at R. Dugans, at Kenny Dillingham, who's now headed off to Oregon. Don't do this to me. People are adding him everywhere. Oh, my God, it's a disaster.
I'm just going to say, too, I've been following a lot of the recruiting, what's going on in this cycle, probably more so than usual, and have heard a lot of stuff that a lot of coaches at FSU, their big Achilles heel with recruiting is they can't close. That has been a lot of what I've been hearing.
Well, and that's money.
It's a real thing.
That's money. And I've talked about this for the last week or so, because my contacts inside the Florida State hierarchy, their NIL conglomerate is called Rising Spear. and Charlie Ward just tweeted out about it last night. Kez McCorvey, Derek Brooks, others are leading the way on that as the kind of like the players advisory board on their NIL and trying to bring in more money. And if this is Travis Hunter's just going to go to the highest bidder, FSU has to step up and pay him. That's just the way it is. And evidently, if he's headed to Jackson State for more money, I mean, Barstool with their cash reserves, with their gaming, they have almost unlimited funds. I mean, they can just bankroll, getting just about any recruits they want. I mean, you still got a kid's still going to want to play there. That's a really, if Travis Hunter's wanted to play in Doak Campbell Stadium his entire life. I mean, it's in his blood. But part of the reason he wanted to play there is because Prime's his favorite player. And, Jackson State's come a long way. It's a great atmosphere, all that. But, man.
And listen, at the end of the day, college, these guys they want to get to the NFL.
Right.
What better way for Travis Hunter than to learn from Deion Sanders for 3
true.
years?
It's true.
It's a real thing, man. It really is. He can love FSU all you want, and he might be looking at it, hey, I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting Deion Sanders, and I get to go ball out. I'm going to be the best player in my conference by a wide margin.
But you're still not going to be on CBS at 3:30.
You're not going to be on CBS at 3:30, but, you're going to be on ESPN. You're going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, ESPN will pick up more games, more Jackson State games. The more players that go there, the more you're going to be on. But you're still not going to be on. You're not going to play in Bryant-Denny Stadium. You're not going to play in Doak Campbell. You're not going to play in, in the Swamp. You're not going to play at these, cathedrals of college football, which is part of the experience. And, he knows that. You basically become a mercenary at this point. And, for those people who are going to sit back and yell and scream about, I knew this was going to ruin college football and blah, 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 blah. It's their own fault for doing it, for not being proactive. And
if anything, I think we made the argument over the summer, this was going to even out college football.
Right.
I mean, haven't we been complaining about lack of parity in college football?
Absolutely.
And then this was the first year where we actually had a little bit of parity.
Yep.
Where we didn't know who was going to actually be there halfway through the season like usual.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward, look, I just told you that Clemson, for crying out loud, was recruiting in the top 5 consistently for a decade, and they're almost near the 20s now. There's a lot of other programs that are behind now, and other programs that are coming to the forefront. That's good for college football. It is.
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at here on Twitter, and it's blowing up. Wow, if this happens, it is going to be unbelievable. Well, listen, it's not only Florida State. Texas A&M has had a huge day, landing Jake Johnson, the number 1 tight end recruit. It's very much rumored that Max Johnson, this is Brad Johnson's kids, will be following him. He's transferred from LSU to Texas A&M, which I think will probably give them the number 1 recruiting class in the nation.
Who takes A&M?
Yeah.
This is one of the best classes that's ever being put together right here.
Yeah, so that's where money is going. These kids are following the money, and God bless them. Any other notes there before we get to Gradkowski here?
A quick little one, just local Tampa. Shout out to Titus O'Neill's son.
Yes,
officially to UCF today.
Nice. Star, right?
Yeah, we got a
3-star
linebacker. So I know Titus was very excited this morning. I saw on Twitter. So shout out to him.
Yeah. A lot of good young kids coming out of the area this year. Florida's got their first, Napier's got his first Tampa Bay recruit. I forgot the kid's particular his name, but so they've got an early signing here. 4-star offensive lineman Jalen Early signs with Florida State. I think was that expected?
Yes, that was expected.
That was expected. So that's good though. I mean, if Travis Hunter leaves, it's gonna, and he's the only one that leaves, it'll still probably be a top 20 class. I would guess.
Yeah. Man, Josh Newberg really just ripping the heart out of everybody now.
What's he saying?
He just tweeted, "One bite, everybody knows the ... And I don't know if
everybody knows.
I don't know if you know much about Barstool. Dave Portnoy, his pizza. Have you seen the pizza reviews?
Pizza reviews, yeah.
One bite, everybody knows the rules. And
what does that mean?
That's his thing. Whenever he takes one bite, everybody knows the rules. That's like the Barstool moniker thing.
Yep.
Josh Newberg just tweeted that out, and everybody's losing minds right now. Oh,
Presidente, what are you doing to us? I hate
be on
you.
our side, man.
Right. Well, FSU had a chance to hire Dion. They rue
That's
the
very
day.
true.
We said he would be a great recruiter. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Bruce Gradkowski is going to join us. We'll talk some NFL quarterbacking, and we'll start with Brady as well and Josh Allen. What a duel of quarterbacks we saw in this game this past weekend. One of the greatest quarterback duels probably in the last 5 to 10 years between Brady and Josh Allen. They were both magnificent. We'll talk to him next. Stay with us.
Are you in the market for a refinance or looking for a new home? You got to call my man, Fitz the Mortgage Guy, Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. I have got literally a notebook here of testimonials on what a great job he's done for so many of our listeners. Scott saved me $1,200 up front. Scott paid for my appraisal. Scott got my PMI taken off. Scott helped me pay off my car. They didn't give him money, but he refinanced everything for these folks and showed them a great strategy to get rid of a lot of their debt. He's not just a mortgage broker. He's like a financial counselor, and he's passionate to get you the lowest rate and keep you from paying those upfront lender fees. You know those folks that say, we'll pay your closing costs? Well, then they come back and hit you with all these other fees. Folks, go to a local guy who's got a great reputation, been in the business for 20 years here, done 3,000 local mortgages. Scott Fitzgerald. Email him, scott@amstampa.com. That's scott@amstampa.com. Hey, JP here for the Blackrock Bar and Grill, and they got a new menu out, Johnny. This is unbelievable. Some incredible burger creations. Here's my new favorite, mac and cheese burger. A half pound of certified Angus beef, American cheese, bacon, finished with our macaroni and cheese. Are you kidding me? Or a nacho burger with fried jalapenos, grilled onions. They got a ghost pepper chipotle burger. That's hot. Or the Fat Elvis burger. So many good burgers on this thing. It's amazing. What do you like?
I've been taking a look at the seafood section of this summer menu. 8 jumbo shrimp. Unbelievable, man. It goes perfectly with their burgundy mushrooms.
Oh, I love the mushrooms.
It's delicious.
So good. Of course, you get the steak on a 755-degree stone. You cook it right there in the garlic butter, the casino butter. It's fillets. You can do your shrimp on it, your chicken. It's unlike any other place. It's the Blackrock Bar and Grill. You got to go. It's a new menu. Tell them JP sent you. Brandon and Carewood, get to the Blackrock. Who wants free mobile service? I do. And you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP, Santa, and young St. Nick. Get us right over here. My partner for the Golden Diamond Source. You hear that? Christmas music. It's Christmas time. You just popped a question to your lady from the Golden Diamond Source diamond that you got.
Yes, I did. The Golden Diamond Source, the best place to go get your diamond for an engagement. They helped me out so much. They were so courteous to me for somebody who was so nervous. And it's Christmas time, like you said. If you're thinking about popping the question, you need to go to the Golden Diamond Source.
It's the Jewelry Super Center, fully stocked, fully staffed.
Company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. The great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Blackrock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. That's greenleaftitle.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back. The following portion brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. It is Christmas time. No better place than to keep that money local with the great local businesses that we have here. Steve and Julie Weintraub over there at the Gold and Diamond Source doing so much in the community, and they got the best selection, the best staff, make it easy for you, big parking lot, just go to the malls, head on over to the Gold and Diamond Source, just a short ride over the bridge from Tampa and 3800 Almerton Road. Tell them JP sent you. All right, the great Bruce Gradkowski joining us here. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good, brother. How you doing?
I don't know if you know what's going on right now, but it is maybe the biggest recruiting story in the history of recruiting. The number one overall recruit, Travis Hunter, he was signed, sealed, and delivered to Florida State because he grew up a huge Deion Sanders fan, right? Always wanted to play for FSU. The linchpin of the FSU class is now vacillating and may go sign with Deion at Jackson State with a huge NIL deal being financed by Barstool Sports. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Can you imagine?
Do you know the numbers to what Barstool Sports is paying? Or
I know Travis got offered $250,000 a year at Georgia when he visited a couple weeks ago. And I'm pretty sure FSU matched that or came close. But, Barstool, I mean, they could offer him $1 million a year. They have the money.
Is that insane?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And you see what Lane Kiffin came out and said. It's like free agency. I mean,
it
every
is.
year with the transfer portal, with guys coming out of high school. But, hey, coaches do it every year. Guys do it every year. I mean, why not be able to do it? Now that it's open and legal and allowed, why not? And Barstool Sports, they're not dumb. I mean, how about the marketing they get from this? And Deion, I mean, Deion's a great personality, a guy, a leader. Like, I like what he's doing. So it's pretty impressive.
Well, a report just came over that FSU has been informed that Travis Hunter is going to Jackson State. Holy hell. Oh, my God. The number one recruit in the nation is going to an HBCU. And I know FSU saying, well, listen, Deion will put together a great class there, and then, he's going to get offered a job at Florida State or someplace else, and he's going to leave you there. Of course, the kid can transfer with him, right? He can do whatever he wants.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, think about this, and this is, pretty smart what Deion's doing is you bring all the top dogs to you.
Right.
They crush it for another year. Deion's bouncing a big job, and these dudes are going with him,
Well, but he's touting the HBCUs that, we got to put them on the map, and now he's going to get these players to come there, and then he's going to run for the money. I mean, that'd be kind of a bad look, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, everyone's running for the money.
Of course they are. Of course they are.
Players are, coaches are. I mean, at the end of the day, you got, that's you financially for your family and everything. And, And look, and Deion has put him on the map.
Yeah.
He's put him on the map. But now, of course, he's going to want to grow in his career, and he's going to get a bigger job. He's going to probably take some of the with this one that program is at when Deion leaves. But I think there's probably a good guy on his staff, that you look that eventually takes over. And I'm sure Deion will continue to support that program because that's where he got it kicked off.
Right.
And it's going to be cool to see, but that is amazing with the recruits nowadays.
Yeah, it's as I said, college football could have fixed this themselves. The administrators could have fixed this themselves over the past 10 to 15 years with gradual increments, giving the players money and control this NIL a lot better, but they're too greedy to do it. And they were and they weren't going to do it until they were forced to do it. And now this is what you get. So it's a wild, wild west out there. Transfer portals for quarterbacks, going to the highest bidder. That's what. There you go. So you know what? Part of me longs for the days of the college football heyday, but part of me is like, you know what? The players are finally getting their due. It's long overdue, and you could see it from both places, right? As a coach and a player, right? You went through the process.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, absolutely. I mean, you You can see both ways, and it's tough because at the end of the day, I don't think Deion's preaching something he doesn't believe in and trying to get HBCU, on the map and all that. But I think he's doing it the right way. But at the end of the day, too, we're all trying to grow in our careers, and can you blame him for it?
No, hell no. All right, let's talk a little bit about this quarterback duel that we saw Sunday afternoon at Raymond James Stadium. I thought Josh Allen played one of the better games I think I've ever seen a quarterback play in that stadium. He was phenomenal. Not perfect, but with no running game, not even a hint of a running game, and still to do what he did. And Brady was great in the first half, not so good in the second half. How did you grade it all out?
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because looking at the numbers too, Brady had the lowest passing grade of the season with the 57.4 and lowest overall grade this weekend. And I know he had 360 yards passing, all this and that, but I was just going to say, he kind of looked shaky early to me. I mean, it was an early possession in the red zone. Tampa's up 7-0. They have an opportunity to score a touchdown. I felt like Brady missed a read a few times. I felt like he kind of looked at the protection too much at times. It kind of let that get in his head. But just like Tom Brady does, he makes enough plays to win a football game. And that's what's impressive to see. I mean, in the second half, they're about to score, and he almost throws that interception.
Yep.
And then they settle for a field goal. But, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, he made enough necessary plays for them to win and go from there. I mean, and then you look at the Bucs' remaining schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, this team could very easily finish 14-3.
Yeah.
I mean,
they should.
13-4, so
at the
give
worst.
them a loss in there at some point.
Yeah.
But so it's impressive what they've done. And now it's just kind of gearing up for the playoffs.
How about the last play you go to overtime, Josh misses a third down throw to Diggs that was, pretty simple. And then Brady on his third down play in overtime, it's Perriman on that play, and it was supposed to go to Mike Evans, and it was a crossing route that Mike actually went over the top instead of coming underneath. They kind of screwed it up, but Brady made the play, and great protection on it on a stunt. Take us through that play and the brilliance of that play in overtime, the one to Perriman.
I mean, it's about third down conversions.
Right.
You got to keep drives alive, and and that's what they did. Early. Look, Brady had a chance in the fourth quarter when they had the ball as a third down and 6. Actually, Brady made a good play, got out of that sack, completed it, but then there's a penalty. You replay it down, so then they get stopped on the third down or whatnot. So to have the opportunity in overtime on a key possession, key down, to complete it for the game winner, I mean that was perfect. It was ideal, and I mean that's the difference there. You talk about how well Josh Allen played, but when you need a play, that's when you have to make it.
Yep.
And and that's what Brady did.
Hey, talk a little bit about what you're seeing from Aaron Rodgers. Playing on a broken toe. I mean, he has put together a string of games now. To me, this all comes down to who gets the home field advantage for the NFC Championship game. Is it going to be Lambeau, or is it going to be Tampa? And if they finish with identical records, the Packers have the tiebreaker. So we need the Packers to lose one more. Is there a loss on their schedule? Can he continue to play at this level with that broken toe?
I mean, we're seeing it. And I think, too, like Matt LaFleur and Nathaniel Hackett, they do a really good job offensively and scheming teams up in their screen game and things of that sort. So they're making it friendly for Aaron Rodgers, and look, he's playing with a ton of confidence right now.
Yeah.
Now, when I look at it, Green Bay ends with a tougher schedule,
yeah.
Than Tampa. They're at Baltimore, and I know Lamar Jackson will be questionable with the ankle and so forth. They have the Browns, they have the Vikings, they have the Lions. So I just look at the next 3 weeks for Green Bay, that these are going to be tough football games. I mean, you got the Ravens that are fighting for a spot, the Browns fighting for the spot. Minnesota,
Vikings.
We see how Minnesota plays at times.
They can beat anybody and lose to anybody.
Yeah, it's insane. I was really watching that Steeler game. I was like, I love the comeback, but I was also like, are the Vikings really going to do this again?
Yeah.
And, and they pulled that one out. So I think Green Bay has a tougher schedule to end with than Tampa. So Tampa has a pretty legit shot to hopefully get that first round bye.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be absolutely crucial for them. Justin Herbert is making a push. He had a couple of down games, but man, he has come back and made a couple of throws this week. Was he one of your higher rated quarterbacks this week?
Oh man, that one throw, that might have been the best throw of the season. You know, that bomb. I mean, you're talking about a 65 plus yard, throw. And I'm not talking line of scrimmage. I'm talking about where
point to point.
Where Herbert was. Yeah. I mean, it was phenomenal. And look, he's a good young player. He continues to do a lot of good things. He had our 5th best passing grade this weekend, but I'll tell you what, he had the best throw of the weekend, if not the season. But Stafford's was pretty sweet too the other night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That bomb he threw. So, it's impressive to watch the talent in the NFL and what these guys are capable of doing, and Herbert being how young he is, and where the Chargers are. This is an exciting year.
Yeah.
To watch this race and how the playoffs going to unfold. And honestly, once you get in the playoffs, it's realistically anyone's game. That's why you have to be playing good football right now at the end of the year going into the playoffs. And the Chargers got a stretch of the Chiefs, Texans, Broncos, and Raiders, which the Broncos and Raiders are fighting for an AFC spot. The Chiefs, of course, in that division, it's a tough game. The Texans, but so there's some tough games left for the Chargers remaining, but it's exciting because everyone's fighting for a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, and these young quarterbacks, I mean, some of the kids we're seeing play are just tremendous. I think Herbert is probably at the top of that list now of ascending quarterbacks. And Mahomes, after having a couple of down weeks, is kind of put it together. What are you seeing from him now?
Mahomes, I was never worried. I mean,
Right,
I know
right.
what people were saying, but to me, it's like the proof's in the pudding. They've been there. They've done it before. That's how football goes. You got to know how to deal with adversity at times, the ups and downs. And that's what Kansas City did. And a lot of times, those are the teams that win the Super Bowl, when they're battle tested, when they're mentally tough, when they fight through some tough times, stay together as a team. It builds you closer as a unit. And Kansas City's playing good football right now. I was out in Vegas this weekend doing a post-game show for the Raiders, and it wasn't a pretty game to be talking about the Raiders.
Yeah,
That from the first play of the game, the fumble, and I just give Kansas City a lot of credit for how aggressive they played, how they were punching the ball out, and they're putting it together at the right time. I know it's maybe not Patrick Mahomes, and what he's done in his career so far, but the guy's a winner. He knows how to find ways to win, and at the end of the day, that's what you have to do.
Interesting stuff. All right, so who'd you have as your number one quarterback this week at PFF?
So our number one graded quarterback passing grade was Joey Herbert.
Yeah.
Stafford was second. Wilson was third. Kyler Murray fourth. And that's their passing grade. A lot of good football this weekend. I felt like Kyler Murray was impressive.
He was. Really was.
Matthew Stafford, watching him. And but when I look at these guys, Tom Brady, once again, he leads this year.
Right.
He's the top overall graded quarterback. Burrow second, Cousins, Herbert.
Who's the MVP? Is Brady
good play?
Is Brady the MVP?
With that,
you got Brady as the MVP?
I don't think you can argue with that right now.
Right.
I think it's especially to Brady. Brady has a perfect pathway to win this thing.
Right.
Now, the last few weeks, to me, he hasn't played his best football, but he has an opportunity against the teams coming up to really shine, and especially if Tampa goes on and just wins these last few weeks, this last month of the season, he could be absolutely the MVP of the year.
Yeah, he's only got one game in bad weather. That it could be really bad weather at the Jets, whereas it might be a little different from Rodgers. But that doesn't seem to bother him at all anyway. All right, my friend,
Yeah.
Great stuff as always. Really appreciate your time, and we'll check in with you next week. Thanks, bud.
All right, my brother.
Thanks.
Have a good week.
Great. Bruce Gradkowski right there. All right, do we need to hit a break, or we're good to go for the rest of the way? Give us an update. It's done. By the way, it is done. A couple of places are reporting Travis Hunter has signed with Jackson State.
I don't think he signed officially yet, but Pete Thamel from Yahoo Sports and Pete Thamel is as reliable as they come. He's broken every big story in college football. He said that a source has told him that FSU has been informed that Hunter is heading to Jackson State. So that's the original report that just came out 15 minutes ago and is starting to make rounds. But this appears to be the new reality, which as FSU fans, I'm stunned. I don't know what else to.
It's disturbing in one way that it came down to signing day. Like there was no rumblings of this, was there anywhere? I did not hear Jackson State's name even mentioned.
No, up until an hour
ago. So this was kind of it seems almost pre-planned. I can't believe that, Travis Hunter woke up today and Prime was on the phone and he's like, "Hey man, we got more money for you. Really want you to come to Jackson State."
And I don't want to speculate on what happened here, but there's no, like you said, there's no way this just came together in a day or two.
No way.
There's just no way.
This is something
I don't want to think that Travis Hunter has been leading on this entire staff for the entire fall when he was being very cryptic.
I'm not saying about that. I'm not saying that.
No, I know, but I don't want.
I'm more. This is more from a Dion and El Presidente. They got together and they said, and they probably even talked about it on their shows. I don't watch Dion on Barstool. I probably should, but they probably said, we're going to go out and as Corey Long just tweeted out, Dion's been saying for a long time that he's going to do whatever it takes to get these kids to come to Jackson State, and damned if he didn't. And when Dion went to Barstool, didn't that that was like you're leaving the NFL Network to go to Barstool? Like, what's going on there? And it's I guarantee you these guys are like, listen, we'll bankroll you with the NIL money and we'll shock the world. And that's what they've done. They've shocked the world. Now, is this and people are going to argue this. This is going to be such an interesting. I love it's something that this show does a lot. We are way ahead of the conversations. And this next huge conversation you're going to have over the next week is this. Is this what's best for Travis Hunter? Is this what's best for Travis Hunter? Everybody's going to say, oh, you're not going to play in the big games. You're not going to be, just like we've been talking about, you're not going to be on the CBS afternoon games in the SEC. You're not going to this. You're not going to that. You're going to miss what traditionally was the great college experience. Well, maybe that's something that's not as important to him as other things are, or whether it be money or maybe, being a trailblazer for historically black colleges. I mean, being, it's not often in this life that you get to be a pioneer at something and do something that's never, ever happened before, make a mark, and do something that's culturally important to you. And I guarantee you Dion's selling him on that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And a lot of, traditionalists like Dabo Sweeney and all these other that are trying to protect their turf. And there'll be a racial opponent to this. Absolutely. That's coming. And this debate should be respectful about that. Should be very respectful about that. This is, I don't want to throw out, this is a Selma bridge marching or something like that but this is a seismic shift in, black athletes supporting historically black colleges. This is a big deal. And, if it's happened, and all the reports are that he signed at Jackson State, this is a big deal, and it's going to force networks to, cover these teams in a different way, to give them more primetime spots. It's still not going to be the best football. It's not, Alabama's still going to be better than Jackson State. Georgia's still going to be better than Jackson State, but this may mark a shift. And if the best athletes start going to historically black colleges, those teams are going to be the best teams, and their facilities are going to have to catch up, and the money will flow, and it can be a historical change. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Dion could jump to take the money next week and go to Florida State or go somewhere else. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen down the road? But this has the potential to be a seismic shift in college football, in football in general, and how kids are paid, how is viewed, how networks are going to. I tell you what, right now, if I'm a network, I'm angling for the Jackson State contract right now. They've become a very, very interesting team to watch, and I would probably suggest that they're going to have a lot more games on TV next year.
Yeah, I mean, they had a few games. They had a few games on ESPN this past year, even when they really didn't have any players that we'd recognize. But this is going to be a shift. There's going to be more that are going to go to Jackson. They're going to go to Jackson State now, probably in this class and future classes, as long as Deion's there. It's as seismic as it gets in college football. It really is. It's monumental. It's all those words. I'm stunned. I really am. And we've had Josh Newberg on every week. And even yesterday, he kind of calmed everybody down just ahead. He didn't really have to, but he said, I spoke to a source who said, hell no, that Travis Hunter would flip. That's how sudden this is. Nobody knew this was coming until today.
There's a story to be told here.
There is.
And I guarantee you, El Presidente is going to tell it.
Yeah, he'll be the one to tell it. Sure.
So I want to find. I mean, I'm going to be watching Barstool later today to see what's going on. Wow, this is unbelievable that this is happening. And I would caution the Nick Sabans of the world, the Dabo Sweeneys of the world, to be very careful about what they're talking about here. Be very, very careful about what they're saying, and respect this kid's decision, respect where he's going, respect what he's doing. I'm already getting texts from Florida State people. Wow, this kid's got he's really taken on, how do they put this? Oh, maybe he can go dominate Prairie View. That's a pejorative comment. Talking, and look, you laugh now, but things could change rapidly in college football. And maybe, in 5 to 6 years, the SWAC and the MEAC, these historically black conferences, may be looking a lot like the SEC. Because here's the bottom line. If the money flows to these schools and the players start and the best players start going to these schools, guess what, SEC? You're SOL. I mean, I know I'm not predicting it's going to happen, but there's an avenue for that to happen. It would be a seismic shift. There's no doubt about it. We'll look back at this day and go, that was the day that it all happened. But now that it's a possibility, because, and that's just what I was talking about. It was like, oh, Alabama, Georgia, they're just going to get more stronger and stronger. Say, well, what if somebody who's an alumnus at Tulane who has $1 billion wants to throw a lot of money into it? Or Jackson State, or Prairie View, or Florida A&M University. You know what? If Jay-Z wants to say, I'm putting money behind Florida A&M University and we're gonna build this, and we're gonna look down at Florida State in about 5 years, he can do it. Because if they get best players, suddenly you're irrelevant. And the last time I checked, most of the best players were black. True. And I hate the division that might create. But we have to be better than that and not make it a divisive thing. We have to celebrate it. And celebrate it. Don't get pissed.
A lot of people are already pointing this out. And we all missed this. I missed this. Apparently the whole media missed this. Last year during recruiting, there was the number 1 overall player in JUCO was committed to Georgia. And Deion did the same thing, swooped in and took him to Jackson State.
I didn't know that.
Nobody really kind of went under the radar. But he's already done this before.
Didn't the best basketball player go to
went to an HBCU as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a real thing, folks.
This is a real thing. I mean, it's wow, interesting as hell. It may be, to a lot of people, they'll just treat this as a one-off, and it might turn out to be that way. But my spidey sense tells me this might be a little bit more interesting than that. All right. Wow. What a day. Our thanks to TJ Rives, Bruce Gradkowski, who joined us, and Brian Bradley. If you missed anything on the show, download our app. Go to FanStream. Just search FanStream Sports in your app store. Download it. You tap that app. You can listen to the show anytime on your phone, Bluetooth, however you want to do it. We're always live on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as well. We're always a little bit ahead of the curve, folks, as we were again today, and can't wait to get back and talk about this tomorrow. We'll have the biggest guest on tomorrow to discuss this. This is a big deal. Have a great day, everybody.